Okay, let's try this again. I do apologize. There are moments. Turn my mic back on. There are moments in life when the silence becomes too heavy to carry alone. When your truth has been twisted, your lights dimmed, and your spirit questioned. Sometimes by the very person who claimed to love you. But even in deepest confusion, the soul whispers, there is more than this. You are meant to be more. Welcome to the Power of One Voice, a sanctuary of healing, truth, and transformation. I am your host, Rare Soul. Today we will hold space for the courageous story of someone who broke free from the emotional change of a narcissistic relationship. Someone who found the strength to walk away, the wisdom to heal, and the power to speak their truth. If you've ever doubted your worth, questioned your reality, or felt lost in someone else's shadow, this conversation is for you. May it serve as a reminder that your voice can become your freedom, your story can become your strength, and your spirit, no matter how bruised, is unbreakable. Today we have Queen of Wands, and we're going to welcome her up. We had technical difficulties earlier. There we go. Let me see if I can expand you from here. I should be able to expand you. Oh, put you in the big box. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. There we go. There we go. Let's make it a little. There we go. Okay. How are you today?
I'm good. Let's see. I need to share this out.
Yeah, I can't see comments, so I'm going to have to go
Sure.
up here. I'm going to have to
I
go
can
back
see.
in. Okay. There we go. There we go. This is as good as it gets, guys. Got to figure the boxes out. If anybody knows anybody that can walk me through getting rid of some of these extra boxes and doing like a top on top, please let me know. So, welcome back to the Power of One Voice, a sacred space for healing, truth telling, and rising again. I'm your host, Rare Soul, and today's episode is deeply personal and powerfully necessary. We're holding space for a survivor who has walked away from the shadows of a narcissistic relationship into their light. This is a conversation of courage, of intuition, of spirit. If you're listening and you've ever felt silenced, confused, or emotionally drained in a relationship, you are not alone. This is healing. This is power in your voice. Let's begin. Welcome in, Queen of Wands.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you feeling okay today?
I am. I am.
Okay.
A little nervous.
It's understandable. Is the music too loud for you?
No, I don't think so. How is it for chat?
Chat, music. Thank you for the daily heart me. Okay, thank you, Frost.
Hey, Frostfire.
All right, let's get started. Can you describe the moment that you began to realize something wasn't right in the relationship?
That was actually pretty early on. I had there were little red flags all over, like him disappearing for hours. He lived 2 hours away. He would tell me he's on his way and then not show up. He left me in a restaurant in Sacramento. We had traveled down there, and he left me in a restaurant for a few hours while he went. He said to go buy a gun holster for me, but that was not true.
Okay.
So there were little things all the time. Um, and then there were other things later. Obviously, it kept going. I kept picking up clues and kept seeing the red flag.
Okay. Now, if there comes a time where um, it gets to be a hard question and you got to take a break, we'll just teacup you and you can take a moment. Just let me know.
Hmm.
So, obviously, you just said there were red flags. Were there later signs that you like overlooked?
So I'm an empath and I'm a people pleaser, and I take everything in my environment in and I'm always analyzing it. That's how I knew, like momentarily, I knew when he was lying to me. I could tell by the way he was breathing, moving, looking. I knew there was something wrong. And he wouldn't tell me. He was, obviously, I'm telling you the only truth. But later, I would pick up clues and put them together. And like months later, I would go, mother, and I would then,
Yeah.
I'd bring it all to him and say, "This is why, I put this and this together, and you lied to me," and that happened repeatedly, over and over and over again. I would catch him talking to the same girl, and that was one of the major, you know, focal points. There was the cheating, the lying, the rug use, Persian rugs, all that good stuff. Um, stealing from me.
So, obviously, there was a specific event that shifted your awareness and gave you the strength to walk away.
The third time I caught him cheating or messaging with the girl, he had done it while he was sitting right next to me at a restaurant. And that pissed me off really to that too. But it was, he had promised he would never speak to her again. And I told him to get out. I was done. I was ending it. I wanted him to move out. I didn't want to do this anymore. And he said he would not go.
Wow.
That
Sorry you had to
he
go
was
through
going to
that.
stay, he was going to work on this, and he was going to make it happen. And in that exact moment, I split. The dark empath in me phased into being, like she came out full force and started directing my life from that moment on. And her main focus, and I do talk about her as, a separate entity sometimes. It was like a separate mind in my head. She came out and immediately took over. And that's when I started using. In that exact moment, I told him from now on, everything you buy, I get half of. You give me half of all of your rugs, the Persian rugs, all that good stuff. And that part was to devalue myself in his eyes and also to hold up that mirror to him. I was now going to be a mirror of everything. He was not going to be able to escape reality from that point forward.
So you
There was,
mimicked his actions.
in that sense, yes.
Okay. So obviously that's how it affected your spirituality, emotionally, and your self worth.
Oh, yeah. I had to, it took me 9 months to get him out of my house. From that point when I phased, my main goal was to get him to want to leave. Because I knew my asking he wasn't gonna do anything, right? So it had to be his idea. So I, I did things that I wasn't proud of and went places in my psyche that I'm now still trying to heal from because I'm not that kind of person. I manipulated him. I lied to him. I did other things, trackers on his car and all sorts of stuff to get him to leave. And I kept showing him that he was lying. I kept, pushing, 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 poking. I didn't leave my house for almost 9 months. I stopped going anywhere, and especially with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was your inner voice or spirit telling you before you left?
Well, So the dark half of me was every moment of every day was, we can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. We can't do this anymore. I got to get out. I got to get out. He's got to go. He's got to go. But my heart was still so in love or trauma bonded. I was still wanting that future that he sold me at the beginning. So I had, the cognitive dissonance going on very strong. I was in love with him and wanted him and told him that, and then did everything in my power to push him away.
Mm. So did you feel supported, or did you have to become your own support team?
TikTok was my support team.
It's twice I've heard that on here.
We live in a society now where we don't have family close by. We may not have friends close by. Everyone moves away. We're all online now. And I recently moved to a place where I don't know anybody. So I don't have any physically close. And I'm not close with my mom. I have my son, and that's about it. So, and I don't want, I didn't want to tell my son all this, although my son lived in the house with us for a lot of that and watched it happen. So that was hard too.
I was going to say, how did that affect you, knowing that it affected him?
I didn't let that, and I didn't let that thought stop me. The main focus was to get him out by any means possible. End of story. And obviously, I'm not going to hurt him, or I'm not going to be violent with him. So I had to manipulate him. I had to make it very uncomfortable for him to be here. Although he kept doing his stuff too. He kept gaslighting me. He kept lying. He started stealing from me, stealing from my credit cards.
So in the process of getting him out of the home, you in turn destroyed yourself because of his original actions.
Oh yeah, I had to burn it all to the ground, and just hope I could come out of the ashes.
Understandable. Was that easier for you to do it that way than it was just to stand up and say, I've had enough?
I did stand up and say I had enough, and he wasn't going to go. He didn't, he was going to keep fighting and keep using me as long as he could. So I had to make me undesirable. But yet I still loved him.
Because you still loved him?
I did. And I talk about this in another video. In the last couple of months before he left, so he moved out. So I phased in August of 23. He moved out in May of 24, or April actually. And then he left for Texas in December. And that's when we were finally gone, done, over. And he passed away from rugs, the Persian ones in Texas. So I have some guilt over that, but
I'm going to say it seems kind of hard for you to talk about.
Just because that part is so new. It was really hard for me to go through. When he first left, and I still have that thought of, I'm going to hear him coming through that door someday.
Yeah.
I really thought if he had lived even if it was years down the line, at some point I would hear his voice again. And I'm not by phone call. He's called me and I have not answered the phone.
Okay.
Between the time he left.
What would you say to others who are still unsure if they're experiencing narcissistic abuse?
Well, that's the thing, is narcissist is thrown around a lot these days. I learned afterwards that he was actually diagnosed. After he had moved out, he told me that he had been diagnosed, because I brought it up to him. I'm like, my therapist says you're very narcissistic. And he's like, well, yeah, it's 'cause, I was diagnosed. like a few years ago, whatever. But if you're in a situation that you're not happy, that's toxic. If someone's hurting you, if someone's lying to you, if someone's cheating on you, that's toxic. It's all not good and you need to get out. Everyone deserves to be happy, and you can be happy alone, right? You don't need somebody right there next to you. Or you can work on yourself and then find that wonderful person that fits you perfectly, just not right now.
So don't settle.
Don't settle. No, no. Work on yourself. Get yourself good with you. Learn to live alone. Learn to be happy. Learn to love your friends. Learn to love yourself.
Do you love yourself?
You know what I do? I'm proud of myself, for one, for not letting this go on as long as I've heard other people have stayed in these kinds of relationships. I fought from day one. And at the point when, the third time he cheated, I was done. When I was gonna, get him out of my life, he wouldn't go. But I am proud of myself and I do love myself. I'm a good person. And you know what? My friends speak so negatively to themselves sometimes, and I just can't stand it because they're such wonderful, beautiful people. And they tell themselves they're ugly, they're stupid, I can't believe I did that. And I can't let them. I have to say, no, don't talk to yourself like that. You're beautiful, you're wonderful. Tell yourself that.
Yeah. So, what were the first steps that you took toward healing emotionally and spiritually?
Well, I looked up a couple of therapists here on TikTok. And one I found, Roman Zanoni, had a really pragmatic way of looking at everything and healing. And it really spoke to who I am. He gave me the whys, the hows. It wasn't just all this mystical, cup in a hole or your hole in your cup crap. And filling it up and not filling it. I don't know, and watching the movie of your life. And I don't know. I just wanted, how do I do this? What do I do? Give me the steps. What do I need to start thinking or doing? I can work on that. If I don't know how to be healed, all the other stuff never worked for me. Because, you'll heal in time is what they say. Well, how? What does that look like? And he gave me the steps. And I had some, not interviews, but sessions with him. And on the first session, he taught me that I have more boundaries for my cat than I do for myself. And I was like, oh my God, I do. I would let somebody hit me, but I would never. You touch my cat?
Yeah.
So I had to rethink that, and I deserve boundaries. And then he also said that boundaries teach people how to love you. If you don't like something and you say something, that's a boundary. And if they don't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you.
Right.
And you can leave.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So, did you use practices like prayer or journaling, meditation, anything like that?
Journaling has helped a lot. Writing it down, getting it out. More in the beginning, when I was first going through it, and when he first left the house and I got that time alone, a fog started to lift from my brain that I didn't realize I was in. The daily walking on eggshells, the daily ups and downs, the chaos. You don't think of anything else but that person. And that's why they put you in that kind of situation. But you don't think about anything else. And
Right.
once you're away from them, your fog lifts and you start seeing the world. You can see beyond yourself, see beyond, your relationship. A whole year had passed and I had a hard time putting that together. I I was a year behind everything, you know. I was so stuck in my little world that a whole year passed and I didn't even like hardly know it.
Wow.
And
So when you
so
realize
journaling at
that,
the beginning, hmm?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well, I was just saying, journaling at the beginning helped me to remember everything, write it down and think about it so that I wouldn't forget it because I do. With the fog, I forgot a lot.
Yeah. How did you begin to rebuild your true self? Or rebuild trust in yourself? I'm sorry.
And that's the thing is, could I trust myself to pick somebody not toxic next time, right? I don't know if I can. I'm dating. I am putting up boundaries. I am going slow. Um, I hope I can trust myself. I mean, I've already like when being on a date with a person, you know, I've seen red flags. I know they're not somebody I'm going to be in a relationship with, and that I can just be friends with them. And I don't think that's something I could ever do in my previous life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm recognizing that. Although on the second person I dated, I got triggered and let a little bit of that old dark empath out, and I can't do that, especially not with people that don't deserve it.
So is there a special someone? I mean, I know you say you're dating. Do you have. No? Okay.
No, no. I'm just dating. I'm just meeting people, dating.
That's one way to get started.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, Tinder, I think Tinder's a wonderful thing. As long as you vet the people and you actually meet them for dinner and you get to know them, and are they good for you? Are they not? You
So
move
you can
forward.
immediately tell now. Say, so how many dates would you say that you would have to go on? Or how many conversations would you.
One date, because
One
I've only
day?
been on three first dates.
No, I'm saying, so what I'm asking is, so if you met somebody, how many dates would you have to go on for you to go, yes, this isn't the person for me?
I think
Um,
maybe two,
Two?
but in the first date, a lot happens, and I usually know by then. If not, then soon after the first date.
So you have a better self awareness now.
Yeah, I think so. I think I have standards now.
I think a lot of us at our age, we have so many more standards to where, people are going, you should probably lower those a little bit.
You might actually get somebody.
You
You might
might,
have
you're
a battle.
right. Right, right, right. So, who did you discover yourself to be after the relationship ended?
I am phasing into a whole new person, and that's kind of scary at my age.
Who's that
I
person,
still
though?
have the I still have the person I was before. It's just I'm not naive anymore. I don't have that fully trusting, fully, jump off the cliff mentality anymore. I wouldn't want that for my worst enemy going through that kind of relationship. I wouldn't ask that of my worst enemy. So, yeah, I don't want to jump into that ever again. So, I really need to know a person, or at least not put my heart so readily into it at first.
So you feel like you need to be a little bit more guarded?
Yes.
Does that make you feel safe?
I don't know. Because I'm still uh, spontaneous. So with my last date, we were very spontaneous. We had fun. I'm still myself. I'm still outgoing and all that good stuff. I don't fall in love instantly. Where I used to think that there was something to sorry, there was something to love about everybody. Like every man, you could love him. That's not true. There's some men that just don't deserve to be loved.
Okay. So,
Sorry, that was my dog.
how do you use your voice or your story now to empower others?
Well, on TikTok, I go live. I tell my story. I've been very open with my story. And, I answer anybody's questions and I bring everybody along on this journey with me. So,
Okay. So, what brings you joy today that once felt impossible?
being by myself,
It's a good one.
because now by myself, I'm at peace. When he left the house, it was like just such a weight that was lifted from the whole household, from my shoulders, from my whole world, right? And when he left the state, it was even better. I mean, I cried from the release of all the tension. Yeah, being alone makes me happy now.
Is it a sense of comfort now?
It's a sense of peace.
That's good. It's good.
Mhm.
If you could speak to your past self, what would you say to the version of you that was still stuck?
Let her fly. The dark empath.
Let her fly.
Yeah, because the half of me that was still in love, still trauma bonded, I questioned what I was doing. I was acting on pure instinct a lot of the times. I did things and I didn't know why I was doing them, but I just went with it. But I did question myself, and I would just say, "It's going to be okay. Let her out of the cage. Just hang on,
Yeah.
Just
Let's go for a ride.
yeah, she's going to take you on a wild ride, honey."
So, what does freedom feel like to you now? Like in your in your body, in your mind, even in your spirit.
A part of me is still angry. I I still feel a little bit stuck because I'm still here in this house. I still don't go out a lot. I think that's why I started dating, so I could open that part of my life again. But I'm still trying to get over the effects of changing the way I did to get him out. That I haven't fully gotten my freedom back yet. I'm not fully me yet. So I'm just waiting until, I don't know, maybe if I get a job, that would be nice. Give me something else to focus on.
Yeah. So, what do you do?
Usually I'm a mortgage post closing manager. And
Okay. What's your favorite self care ritual these days?
one is doing my nails, another is yoga and meditation that I didn't do the whole time he was in my life. And now that he's gone, it feels nice to be able to do that again.
Okay.
There's no meditation when there's a narcissist in your life.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. As you know, we've talked. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you do know a little bit of my backstory. I wasn't where you were, so I can't imagine being in your shoes. I probably would have lost my mind. And
I think I did.
I give you many props for holding it together as well as you did.
Thank you.
Um, did you have any other struggles that you'd like to share, like within
Well,
this
other than,
relationship?
I was very honest with this a few months ago about the Persian rugs.
Yes.
Um, I thought it would be easier to put down because the moment he was gone, it was like, okay, I can not do this anymore. And
Right.
I was still going through a depression with the ending of that relationship. The It was still the loss of love, the loss of this fantasy. I was so in love with him but I still don't know if it's a trauma bond or if I loved him. But he was the person he sold me was such a wonderful person. And he was wonderful to everybody when he first met them, but the longer you knew him, the worse he got.
Mm.
He never had any friends that lasted, right? Because he couldn't hold it together ever. He would start messing up. He would start stealing. He'd start, you know,
Yeah.
using and all that good stuff. So he
Yeah, I
couldn't keep
get
friends.
that.
So I have to keep reminding myself too that he wasn't good. We didn't have good times. They were a fallacy.
Hmm.
They were just a part of the roller coaster that he built. He built in those highs.
I get that. Um, do you have a mantra or any other kind of affirmation that you live by?
Um, I, and I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like, I have to think of it. What do I say to myself? But I talk to myself all mother day. That's all I do is talk to
Yeah.
myself because there's nobody else here. It's either me or the dogs, right?
Right.
But I do talk well to myself. I don't call myself stupid. I don't call myself ugly. I try and always look at the good things about me and not the negative ones because there's so much negativity in the world that I don't need to put that on myself, right? I
Hmm.
will, if I let myself, I would tear myself apart. I would be my own worst critic. I could really hate myself. I could hate the way I look. I could hate, the way, how much I weigh. I could hate my body type, but I won't. I won't do that to myself.
Right.
And so yeah, so I just try and be positive about me, about who I am, about my life, about even, the finding a job. I kind of just put it in God's hands and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. I just pray that it's before the money runs out.
So, how do you think your inner child dealt
Mm.
with this?
That's funny you should ask. So, right after he left the house, I wrote a story.
Hmm.
And I was trying to find it today, but I can't. Need to look at some other places. But it was about when the dark empath came out, about how she broke open that cell and her job was to protect the child, the inner child, right? Because she was very much in danger of being broken by him. And that's why my dark empath came out. And she came to burn the world down to make it safe for my inner child to come out and be safe, be in the world again. So I'm very protective of my inner child.
Right.
um, I'm very protective of my core and my heart. And I don't let a lot of people in. There's like a lot of people, we're onions, right? There's different layers of us. And only very few people get to that inner core and my inner child and know me at when I'm my happiest, when I'm just relaxed and free. I'm just glad that I'm still able to be there and to get there and that she wasn't broken completely. That I was able to save her.
So, you still had sort of a foundation to kind of build off of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think if I hadn't phased into dark empathy, if I had just said, okay, we'll try and work on this, I can't imagine how many years it would have gone on
Mm.
and how broken my inner child might have really been if I had stayed in that situation for some of these women stay in these situations for, 8, 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine how broken they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of. It's kind of like that teacup. Even though it cracks, you try to glue it back together. The pieces don't ever fit correctly.
No. And it's the addiction too to the dopamine cycle, the ups and the downs, the chaos.
Yeah.
There's an addiction in the trauma bond. And at some point, you don't want to leave because you're so addicted. And luckily, I wasn't there yet. I thank God that I wasn't there yet.
Now you keep calling yourself an empath, a dark empath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I know there's a lot of people that assume what a dark empath is, but could you reiterate and giving your explanation on dark empath?
Well, dark empathy is a phase that some empaths can go through when they are pushed to the brink and they see no way out. This is their only survival, is to now use the tactics that the narcissist use upon them back on the narcissist. That is lying, manipulating, cheating, whatever they did is now put into play against them.
So sort of like you're responsible for their threefolds for their karma.
Um, I thought about that and I thought maybe that I was his karmic response, like I was his retribution for the people that he had hurt earlier in his life, for his first two wives, and all the crap they must have gone through because they both spent years with him, like 5, 10. The last one was 15 or so. And to go through all that, I'm glad I was his retribution for them because I know I broke him.
Does that give you satisfaction?
No, because it's not nice breaking people, even if they deserve it. But he had to because he wasn't going to let go.
Okay. Um, what was the hardest part to admit to yourself?
But I did it on purpose.
How'd you deal with that?
Once once I started getting coming out of the brain fog and started going into therapy and talking to people about this and talking to people on TikTok and everybody, I was able to forgive myself because I knew it was for a good reason. And the person I did it to me first. And I only did it to break free from the relationship.
Right.
So he deserved everything he got, unfortunately.
Okay. So, what kind of soul wounds did you discover about yourself? And how are you now tending to those, like today?
I don't I don't know if you call it a soul wound. I hate where I am in life today because a few years ago my life was so good and I went down a path that put me here that I didn't need to go down, I don't think. But I wonder then I would have been on another path because I had to learn these lessons, at some point. I believe that God puts us on paths because we have to learn something, but I'm not sure a soul wound. Other than, I'm not as open as I used to be with people.
More guarded.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, my whole my camera just went off. I sat back and my whole computer screen shut off.
Oh, so your camera remained on actually.
Yeah, I'm like, let's see. I mean, what the heck? Somebody else's stuff, and let me see. We lost spots here. Um, how did you learn to feel safe again, especially with your emotions or in any relationship, not necessarily dating, but just any relationship?
I detach emotionally. I always have. It's, I don't want to say my superpower, but it's kept me safe, most of my life until this happened. So I'm right back into that emotional detachment. Although I cry more now. I think I cried more in the last year into total mess than any time in my life. I literally, I can't count on the how many times on the phone I've called total mess just bawling. So
Maybe that's an
kudos to her
age
for
thing
being.
too. Maybe that's an age thing too.
Yeah, maybe those boxes I locked up a long time ago are now, starting to crack open.
Yeah, yeah, because I even find myself at times like I don't even know what's wrong with me right now. Yeah, definitely, definitely. What does peace mean to you right now, compared to what you thought it meant back then?
Oh, peace is the lack of chaos.
The
Any
lack of
chaos, all
chaos.
chaos.
Okay.
And I'm still striving for it. Um, there's still areas of my life that are in chaos,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't be at full peace, and I will be one day, and I was once before.
Okay.
So
So, how did you learn to love yourself and not just superficially, but I mean like deep soul love?
I think I got very fucking lucky when I was a kid. Somehow, some way, I had early childhood trauma with both of my parents and all three of my parents actually, and I came out of it knowing who I was. I came out of it talking to God daily. Whatever voice that was in my head, I gave it to God and I, talked to God every day. I had my higher power with me. And I was good to myself. I was never negative to myself. Anytime any negativity came up, my inner voice, God, whatever, and I always listened to it, would tell me, no, don't talk to yourself like that. You're good. You're beautiful. If you need to work on things, work on them. But you're wonderful. You're good. You got this. You can do this. My whole life, I got lucky, and I know I did.
Mm, that's good. It's good.
Because I
Um,
know a lot of people don't have that voice, or they don't listen to that voice,
mhm,
right?
absolutely.
And that's sad.
Well, and this is why we're doing this because we can give them a voice.
Just listen to that voice.
Yeah. So, what would you tell somebody listening if they were stuck
In a toxic relationship,
in a narcissistic relationship?
get away. Give yourself some space so that you can let that fog lift for just a moment, get away for a week, 2 weeks, as long as you can. Give yourself that space so that you can look at it, what it really is. You're in a trauma bond. And until you give your space, until you can look at it and start getting away from him, you're going to be trapped forever.
So, as family members and friends, how can we better support somebody who is in a narcissistic relationship? How can we be there for them emotionally?
They're going to isolate. The narcissist is going to isolate them. So you just have to keep reaching out. They won't reach back out, but keep going, keep going. I had a friend every month call me and leave a message. I would never answered it until the narcissist left my house, and he was the first person I called. But every month he checked in. Every month he left me a voicemail to let me know that he was still there, and that when I was ready, he would be there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's So is there anything else that you'd like to say or reiterate, backtrack on?
It's really a fucked up situation, but if you see the red flags, heed them. The first time they cheat, go. The first time they text somebody else, don't listen to them. You don't know them. Listen to that inner voice. I didn't listen to that inner voice, and I stayed. And then he moved in, and that was the worst mistake. So listen to your voice. Listen to your inner voice.
Awesome. So, with that being said, we have another special guest that I'm going to be bringing up because I believe that the two of you are very similar and have similar stories. And she needs to request up. You know who you are. Oh, where'd she go? Let me see if I'm trying to get her up here. Dukes. Make me call her out.
Hi, Jolene.
Yeah, she's not. She's like, no, I'm not requesting up. You're not gonna get me up there today.
Dukes, come and talk to me. It's all good. We have to talk to one another. We have to hear each other's voice. We have to make nice.
I sent her an invite. With that
there
being
you are.
said,
I think that you have an eye tracker on my cooter, because I swear to God, I was going to pee and you're like, you need to request. Did you not see me say that I had to pee? I think there's an air tag on it.
Those are very helpful things, by the way, when you're tracking your narcissist.
I can imagine that they would be.
He had at least 2 or 3 trackers on his truck at all times.
wow.
Anyway, Dukes.
If I had one of those, I probably would be more traumatized to know more than I already do. I'm good on the.
So I'd like to explain. For you, those of you in the chat, these are 2 of my very good friends that I have met and connected with. I speak to Dukes every single day. She's my girl. She's my A1 from day one, my ride or die. Queen of Wands, I have been able to reach out and talk about a lot of different things with her and reiterate on a lot of different things. And even sometimes if me and Dukes ain't on the same level, I can reach out to Queen of Wands. But what they don't realize within one another is that they are very similar. Those of you that heard Dukes' story yesterday, in some cases, hers was similar. And as all of us, somehow, our stories can all be alike. And we go through the same things. So these are my girls, and I want to give the floor to them.
And I'm gonna just say, Dukes, one thing. When you messaged me that first time about Maxim, the night before, I had just confessed to the world that I was a drug addict and that I was going to be getting clean and I needed help. That was my second day clean. I was not in probably the best mood. I do think that my message was as nice as I could get. um, and if there was any, bad feelings about that, I apologize, but my life at that time, you just got the worst of it right then. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not sorry about booting you every time you came into a certain life, though. Because you can't block them on.
We were gonna buck heads on that, but I have to say that certain person antagonized a lot of that. But that's a conversation for another time. I appreciate your apology. My daughter had sent out stuff to help. I guess it was wrong timing, bad stuff. I had no idea at all that.
The email. Well, I didn't give the email a whole lot of thought. I just answered it, fuck off, C word, and I was done.
What email?
Oh, well, there was an email from
A mutual that really doesn't.
Not a mutual of mine.
I was told of that email after the fact it was sent, and I don't jive like that. So I can only take accountability for myself and the words between you and I in a certain someone's room. I blocked immediately the message that was sent because I also wasn't in a good way. I was in the hospital, so my daughter had sent that message just to try to help me out.
Okay.
So I apologize. It was a copy and pasted message, but I didn't mean it to. She didn't mean it to insult anyone. She was trying so hard just to help me. So you were one of the first people, you and Total Mass, Rare. So she just was top people, boom, 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 boom. So I kind of wanted you to know that you were thought of as my people. So when I got that, I felt flat, holy shit. So I apologize for taking it to the block level because I was trying to navigate my own stuff and I was I don't need this shit. That's where I was. I don't need it. I'm not dealing with it. I had heard that you were going through similar things, and I know that when I'm in that place of being triggered, which I was, I can be brutal with women. I could hurt them. And I know that about myself. So for me, having been close with Rare, at the time having Jacob as the same similarity, Total Mass, mutual friends, I was I know I can be vicious. I'm going to just block this right now. That's where that came from because I didn't want there to be issues because I wasn't going to put Rare in the middle but it just got to and out of control, and I think there was a lot of antagonizing going on as well. So I apologize for that.
See, all good. We're fine.
I'm easy peasy.
Easy peasy, right?
Yeah, I'm all about it's all about the approach. I could have handled it better as well. I probably should have said, look, fish, I need 10 minutes, okay? We'll come back and reconvene.
Yeah, and I wasn't. For that whole week, I wasn't nice to anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, I've had issues with Rare where I've spat off in my mouth with no intention of hurting her. And that is one thing I will say, but I'll hold myself accountable for the things I've said and done. And if I've hurt you in the way that I handle it, I apologize.
No, and you never did. No, nothing you did hurt me. I don't even I don't even know if you said anything in chat. I don't really put a lot
I
of
think you were like,
emphasis.
unblock me, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, I should say unblock you.
I will
And
own
when you
that. I
didn't,
was like,
I'd
fuck
boot
you,
you.
no.
I just boot you.
And you would mute me, and I was like, bitch.
Am I unblocked yet? No? Okay, still muted.
Because that's the shit I do. Whatever.
Yeah. There's going to be a new person muted and blocked, by the way. I just got blocked by somebody else in his chat.
Well, he's another whole conversation in itself, when he wants to be a big boy and he wants to unblock me, because then he will include Jacob. I agree to let everyone speak on their own. So when he wants to be a big boy, we could do the same.
Well, I'll unblock you. I just have to go into the 10,000 people he has blocked. He has 10,000 people blocked.
Yeah, but he took it to another whole level though too. He took it to the personal accounts too. So Jacob needs to stop being a baby too.
Well,
Jacob and I love the shit out of him. He's an idiot, but I love him. What can I say?
Yes. He's like my brother,
Yeah,
I love him,
that's what I'm saying. He's an idiot, but I love the shit out of him. He's got me blocked, and he took off on all the personal stuff, and I'm like, whatever, Jacob. I'll see you when you get over it. That's the type of person I am.
And I'm the type of person that will unblock you so you can just come surprise him.
Why does he think that I just was like, fuck you, Jacob? I don't know.
Okay, ladies.
You do that, and if Jacob has missed me, then Jacob can say, Dukes, I miss you, and, we'll move on.
And we both know he will never say that to anybody, except Total Mess.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Well, I don't know. I like to think that he can get to that part. I have faith in him. I do.
Okay.
I do. I have faith in him. Everybody's like, you crazy. Well, I've been called worse. So it's okay.
Okay, ladies. Thank you for both of you coming up and
of course.
Joining the panel. Queen of Wands, I appreciate you.
Thank you to you, Rare, because you really are.
Thank you. And with that, I want to say thank you for being here with us today on the Power of One Voice. To our guests, your courage is light for others still finding their path. And to those listening, know this. You are not broken, and you are not what happened to you. Your voice matters, and your healing matters. And your story can become someone else's survival. May we all continue to speak and to heal and to rise above. Until next time, I'm Rare Soul, and this is the Power of One Voice. Because one voice is all it takes.
Yeah.
Love you, ladies.
Love you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I love you.
Thank you so much. That was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we have a new guest. We have our first male guest.
You get down, right? Yeah.
Hello, chat. Thank you for coming in. We've heard some stories in the last 2 days, and they have been amazing. Some of you have been here through both of our guests. Tomorrow we will have our first male guest. Thank you for the Daily Heart Me. I appreciate it. If any of you have a story that you would like to share with us or with the world, please DM me. I will send you my phone number. You can give me your story, and we will sit down and figure out where we want to go. The panel is always yours. This is a safe place. Yay! With no judgment. Thank you, Queen of Wands. There's absolutely no judgment here. I've been always a very adamant supporter of women supporting women. One of the big things is my story and working through my stuff I have a very good friend. Well, I consider them a friend. Usually they watch from behind the scenes, who's really helped me greatly through this path on this podcast. And I want to give a big shout out to them, but I can't give out their name. So I just want to say thank you. You know who you are. I appreciate you. And please, anybody who has a story, please come in and share. We need to hear your voice. Others who are in those situations that are struggling to get out the same struggles that you're having, fighting with depression and alcoholism, narcissistic behavior, abuse, the loss of a loved one. Other people need to know where we're coming from. After all, this group here, TikTok, is about supporting and engaging with other people. We are all one family. We've just never met everybody. So with that being said, I wish you well. Thank you for joining the Power of One Voice, because it only takes one voice to change everything. Have a good day.